My name is Sony. Whatever clothes I bought, my husband would tear them and then request me to wear these clothes and go with my mother and come back after some time. I did not know where my mother-in-law takes me. One day I easily agreed to my husband and got ready to go. But whenever my mother-in-law took me with her, she used to blindfold me and strictly forbade me to open my eyes and neither remove the blindfold. If I did so, my husband would divorce me and throw me out of the house. I loved my husband very much, so I used to agree to everything my mother-in-law and husband said. Now, every day, my mother-in-law and my husband used to blindfold me and take me to some unknown place where I used to hear a lot of noise. One day, hiding from my husband, I made small holes in the blindfold, and then after tying that blindfold, I went with my mother-in-law. As soon as I reached that place, the ground slipped from under my feet. Because here, I had got married to Rahul only 2 months ago. Both of us were living a very good life. I got married to Rahul according to my wish. However, Rahul did not want to marry me. I could not understand why he did not want to marry me. Rahul was my classmate. We both liked each other a lot. I knew that he liked me, so it is obvious that a person who likes someone also wants to get married. But Rahul never proposed me for marriage. He would only say that I like you and consider you my good friend. Otherwise, I cannot marry you. I could not understand why he said such things. I had started loving him a lot from the bottom of my heart. I had a lot of feelings for Rahul. One day when I came home from college, I saw that the boy's family had come to see me. When I came to know about this, I was shocked because I did not want to marry this boy. My love was with Rahul only, so I wanted to spend my life with him only. As soon as those people left, I called Rahul and told him everything. Rahul said, "What is there to worry about in this? You should get married as per your parents' wish. They will think about your good only." I told Rahul that my good and bad, everything is with you. If you want to marry me, then tell me. And if you do not marry me, then I will commit suicide because I had become crazy about Rahul. Rahul got scared by my words, and he said that you will not take any such step. I will go home today and talk to my mother about this. I told Rahul that you have time only till night because my parents have to give an answer to the boy's family, and they will be able to give you an answer only when I give them an answer. So you give me an answer as soon as possible, whether you want to marry me or not. And remember that I want an answer only in the form of yes. If you refuse, then you will be responsible for my death. Rahul got scared after listening to me and said, "Don't worry, I will call you at night." Now I was waiting for the night, when Rahul's call would come and I would get his answer. I was praying to God that Rahul's answer should be in the form of yes. It was 12 o'clock in the night while I was waiting for Rahul's call, but his call had not come yet, whereas Rahul said that he sleeps by 11 o'clock. I was very nervous. I gave up and called him myself at 1 o'clock a.m. because I was getting restless to talk to him. He received my call on my first call itself. I asked Rahul, "Where are you? Why didn't you call me? I have been waiting for your call for so long." Rahul's voice on the call was coming out very nervous. He said, "Forgive me, Sony. My mother is not agreeing to our marriage." I said, "But why is your mother not agreeing for marriage? What is wrong with me?" "I am quite beautiful," Rahul said. "She is not agreeing just like that." I was obsessed with love, so I got angry and cut Rahul's call and told him that now you see what I do. I had cut the vein of my hand for Rahul. The next day when I regained consciousness, I was in the hospital. When and how did Rahul come to know? I did not know anything. When I opened my eyes and regained consciousness, I saw Rahul and his mother in front of me. My family members scolded me a lot for the fact that if I had told them all this once, then perhaps I would not have to go through all this. Then Rahul's mother came to my house with a proposal, and I was successful in my plan. Both the families happily got me married to Rahul somehow. Only 1 month had passed since my marriage, and the weather had changed. Suddenly, it became so hot that everyone had taken out their summer clothes. My mother-in-law and 2 sisters-in-law were in my in-laws' house. My parents were poor people, and they had married me in a normal way. Rahul also belonged to a similar family, and he also had a meager salary. I never knew why he refused to marry us, and neither did I try to ask Rahul about this again. My husband's house was small, and he was the only breadwinner in his house. He had the responsibility of his mother and two sisters. Now he had the responsibility of me as well. My elder sister-in-law's marriage was fixed, and she was also engaged. She was getting married after a year. She lived with me very well, and was a girl who respected me a lot. I had become very good friends with her, but I could not replace Rahul with her because my husband had given me some money for shopping and had told me to go with my sister. But I insisted that Rahul should take me to the market. I want to go shopping with him. He started laughing at my words and said that you should try to understand. I don't know anything about girls' clothes. What will I do if you ask me for advice there? You take Akanksha with you. Her choice is very good, and you have already developed a good friendship with her. Rahul was also right, so I agreed to what he said, but I did not forget to take a promise from him that he will take me out for dinner. Rahul agreed, but I could see some trouble on his face. I did not ask the reason for his trouble, because I had to go to the market, so I took my sister-in-law Arti along, and I went with her to do market shopping. My husband had given me money to buy 2 suits. I had bought only 2 suits. To make my sister-in-law happy, I had bought bangles for her. She was happy to get the bangles, because I did not have enough money left to buy clothes for my sister-in-law. She was very impressed with me and said, "Bobby, you are the best Bobby in the world." I was happy to hear her words. I wanted to make my place in my in-laws' house soon. My husband was educated and very smart. I was impressed by his smartness. His habits were also very good. He loved me a lot. I wanted to love Rahul so much that he never gets used to living without me. When I came home and happily showed my clothes to my husband, he liked them a lot. Seeing my husband, I felt as if all my hard work was over. My husband came into the room, and I also followed him into the room. Then I took out a suit from those clothes and wore it, and I got ready properly. Then I told my husband that, let's go. My husband was surprised to see me and asked where to go. I said, have you forgotten your promise? We both had to have dinner outside the house. You had promised me. My husband said, okay, I remember. Let's go in half an hour. I will come after going outside. I don't know where my husband went after saying half an hour. I kept waiting for him for a long time. He came inside the house not after half an hour, but after 2.5 hours. It was not much time. It was only 9 p.m. After that, both of us went to eat in a good restaurant. There we also ate ice cream after eating. After that, we had a lot of fun. My husband was definitely poor, but he fulfilled my every wish. We came home before 12 at night. I took off my new clothes and then wore old clothes. But the next day, when I went to the bathroom to take my new clothes, I was shocked to see that all the new clothes that I had brought yesterday were cut with scissors, and there were cut marks on them at many places. My eyes were wide open after seeing those clothes. Then I saw my other suit. It was also cut in the same way. I told my husband that if you did not like my clothes, you should have told me. I would have changed the clothes. But what was the need to make the clothes like this? I was thinking that Rahul did not like my clothes. That is why he treated them like this. My other clothes were also lying in the cupboard. All of them were also cut from somewhere or the other. Now I had only that suit to wear which I was wearing. All the clothes were cut from somewhere or the other. I did not like all this of my husband at all. I sat down holding my head and started crying that what should I do now? I have no clothes left to wear. My husband was standing silently. He was not saying anything. I immediately went to my mother-in-law's room and showed her my clothes. My mother-in-law said that I have made your clothes like this. I was shocked to hear this from my mother-in-law. She said that we should get ready wearing these clothes at night, as we have to go somewhere. I was not able to understand this. I said that where will I go wearing these clothes? These clothes are not fit to be worn, and why have you made my clothes in this condition? You know that none of these clothes are left to be worn now. My mother-in-law said that I am a little busy right now, and will talk to you about this later. I came to my room crying. As soon as I came to the room, my husband was not present in the room. He had also gone out of the house. I was not able to understand what was happening in this house. I was worried about my clothes and kept crying the whole day. I did not even eat food due to tension, and neither did my husband eat lunch. He did not come inside the house since he left. In this way, evening time came. My mother-in-law quickly came to my room and said, "Daughter-in-law, wear these clothes. Get up quickly. We have to go somewhere. I told you in the morning, right? I said to my mother-in-law, "What kind of joke are you playing on me? Where will I go wearing these torn clothes? I cannot wear such clothes." She quickly took out a torn suit and put it on my hand and said, "Wear the clothes quickly. Do what I am saying." I kept looking at my mother-in-law's face. I could not believe what kind of things she was saying. I started saying to my mother-in-law with great surprise and regret, "Mother, how will I wear these clothes?" She got very angry and started saying, "You don't understand at once. I don't know all this. Just do as I tell you. I'm waiting for you outside. You have only 5 minutes. Wear these clothes and get ready quickly and come out. Otherwise, no one will be worse off than me." I was helpless after listening to my mother-in-law and went to the bathroom to wear those clothes. I started crying badly that what is happening to me? My happiness was snatched away from me just after a month of marriage. I quickly wore those clothes out of fear of my mother-in-law and came out. When I came out, I was surprised to see that my husband was also standing there. I looked at my husband with crying eyes and made a face as if to complain to him. He understood what I was saying. He did not say anything and stood silently. Seeing me, my mother-in-law started smiling, while I kept crying. My mother-in-law said to my husband, "Rahul, go and bring a bandage." I did not understand which bandage she was talking about. At first, my husband refused by shaking his head. But then, when my mother-in-law stared at him, he brought a black bandage. My mother-in-law looked at me and said, "Son, one does not cry like this. Wipe these tears and bring a smile on your face." I controlled myself with great difficulty. I started smiling. Then my mother-in-law put her hand on my head and said, "Come with me." Then, as soon as we went out in the courtyard, my mother-in-law tied that black bandage on my eyes. I said, "Why are you tying this bandage on my eyes?" My mother-in-law did not reply to my words. Then she came close to me and whispered in my ear that, "Daughter-in-law, you should not remove this bandage. If you try to remove the bandage, your husband will divorce you and throw you out of the house." I was shocked to hear this from my mother-in-law, and then I agreed to do this work under compulsion because I had faced so many difficulties to get my husband. My mother-in-law was not agreeing to our marriage, so now I will have to obey everything my mother-in-law says. My heart was very helpless. I was not feeling good at anything, and these clothes were torn from all sides. There were holes in many places. How could I go out of the house in such clothes? But obeying my mother-in-law's orders had become a big compulsion for me. I took the name of God and got ready to go. My mother-in-law was taking me somewhere on foot. My mother-in-law was holding my hand because I was blindfolded and could not see anything. We had walked a long distance. After a while, I started feeling something like there were a lot of people near me. I could feel that I was standing in a crowded place. After a while, my mother-in-law asked me to sit. After that, I sat down at one place because my condition had worsened while walking. I don't know what hell my mother-in-law had brought me to. After half an hour, my mother-in-law asked me to walk again, and then we came to another place. At this place, too, there was noise all around in my ears. At this place, there was so much noise that I could hear the sound of vehicles from all sides, and I had put my hands on my ears. My mother-in-law had told me that you should not speak, so I had kept my voice shut as per her instructions. Here also, my mother-in-law asked me to sit on the ground, so I sat down. I could not understand why my mother-in-law made me sit in the middle of the road because I could hear the sound of traffic, from which I guessed that vehicles were passing by, which meant that my mother-in-law had brought me to an open place. I was sure that whatever was happening to me was not good, but what could I do? I was helpless. We spent an hour or two there and then started walking back. I tried to recognize the voices so that I could know which place I had come to, but I was unsuccessful. It was certain that this was some way out. When I reached home, my mother-in-law removed the blindfold from my eyes and then asked me to go to my room. As soon as I came to my room, I saw that my husband was sitting on the bed with his head bowed down. As soon as I sat on the bed, I was very tired, so after a while I lay down. I did not talk to my husband because I was very angry with him. As soon as he saw me, he started massaging my legs. I was very upset with his behavior. I did not stop my husband from massaging my feet because my legs were hurting a lot. I got some relief by massaging my feet. When my husband saw that I was not talking to him, he said, "Sony, I am very ashamed of whatever has happened today. Tomorrow I will take you shopping. You can buy clothes of your choice." I quickly moved my legs back and said, "So that your mother cuts my clothes again?" My husband bowed his head on hearing this and said, "Sony, you take rest. You need a lot of rest? Move your legs here. I will press them." I said, "I do not need your satisfaction." At this time, I did not want to talk to my husband, nor did I want to see his face. Because I was most angry with Rahul, whatever his mother was doing, he did not say anything and silently kept obeying her. So I closed my eyes and slept. I was very tired, so I fell asleep quickly. I woke up after an hour because I had not eaten anything and was feeling hungry. These people had already taken away my peace and sleep, but I did not know that this was just the beginning, and there were more difficult times ahead. The next day, Rahul took leave from his office, and he forcibly took me to the market. But I was sitting comfortably at one place and did not react in any way. My husband himself got me 2 suits of his choice. I came home after shopping. My husband had gone out of the house. He told me to rest. I will meet a friend of mine. My mother-in-law called me to her room. She asked me very lovingly, "Where did you go with your husband?" So I told her that I had gone for shopping with Rahul. After talking for a while, she told me that, "Daughter-in-law, you know Rahul had relationships with big families, but he married you for your sake. Many girls were crazy about my son because he looked so smart, but my son was adamant to marry you. Now when you threatened to die, my son got scared, so I had to bow my head for my son's wish. But you should not spoil your beautiful days by making this small accident an excuse. Live your life happily with your husband. I can see that your husband is not in a good mood at all. He loves you a lot, and see, he took you for shopping only to calm your anger." I found my mother-in-law's words right. I thought that, whatever happened, I should keep my behavior good with my husband. I should not trouble Rahul too much, otherwise he might get angry with me and fall in love with someone else. That poor guy has also made a lot of sacrifices to marry me. I came to my room after listening to my mother-in-law and started waiting for my husband to come. After a while, my husband also came. I was feeling very embarrassed in front of him. I told him, "Rahul, I'm ashamed of my mistake. I also try to clear my heart, but you have to make a promise to me." Rahul became happy after listening to me. He said, "Yes, tell me." I told Rahul, "Whatever your mother has done to me should never happen again. Promise me. This should never happen again." Rahul shook his head and said, "I will try my best, that nothing happens due to which you have to face trouble." Suddenly, he looked into my eyes and said, "Sony, do you know? My mother is a bit stubborn and short-tempered. I have to give in to her words, but she is not bad at heart. She is very good at heart. That is why she got me married to you for my happiness. Although she was not agreeing to our marriage, but she agreed only for the happiness of her son." Rahul said, "I will try to give you every happiness." I was very happy to hear my husband's words. I was happy thinking about what my husband had said, but I did not understand what he had told me about his mother, what he was hinting at about his mother. For now, I left all this to time. I knew that with time, I would know everything. After spending a good time with my husband, I went to my sister-in-law's room in the evening and got busy talking to them. Then I came back to my room and saw that my new clothes were again torn. This time I was very angry. I was thinking that now everything is fine, but it was just my thought. It was evening time. My mother-in-law came to my room again, and she said that, "Wear one of these suits quickly and get ready. We have to leave." I was not able to understand why my mother-in-law was doing this. I did not ask her any question as per her instructions, and silently wore those clothes. My mother-in-law smiled, and then she tied that black bandage on my eyes and told me that the day you try to open this bandage, I will get you divorced by my son. You know how much my son obeys me. I was shocked to hear my mother-in-law's words, so I remained silent. My mother-in-law took me out of the room after tying the bandage and said, "Now come with me." My husband was not present in the house at that time. My mother-in-law quickly held my hand and called out to my sister-in-law to close the door. I remained silent because I knew that my saying anything was going to be of no use. Both of us, Mother-in-law and daughter-in-law were walking again today. We were walking yesterday too, so today my feet had already started paining. I was walking as per my mother-in-law's instructions and wiping my flowing tears. Now I started realizing that I had made a big mistake by marrying Rahul, although my parents were getting me married somewhere else. Now since I had done this marriage according to my insistence and my wish, I had to keep this marriage going somehow. I remembered what my mother had said at the time of my marriage, that Sony, you are marrying this boy, and we are getting this marriage done because of your insistence. Otherwise, the proposal that we have rejected, that boy belongs to a very rich and good family. You would have been very happy there, but here it is your own wish to get married. So you have to settle your love marriage because 90% of love marriages are not successful. On my mother's words, I replied to her that Rahul loves me very much, and I can bet with you that after my marriage, my life will be better than an arranged marriage. When my parents agreed to my suicide plan for my and Rahul's marriage, I felt that my luck had changed. But I did not know that my luck would not change, but my future life would be ruined like this. I was now regretting that I should have got married at the place where my parents were telling me to. But maybe this was written in my fate. We had again reached the same place like yesterday, where there was a lot of noise and the sound of vehicles was coming. We had spent 2-3 hours like this, walking here and there. Sometimes my mother-in-law would tell me to sit down. Sometimes she would tell me to stand up and not to talk at all. Just keep doing what I say silently. After 2-3 hours passed like this, we returned to our home. As soon as we reached home, my husband started massaging my feet, but I was not getting peace. Rahul was trying to talk to me in embarrassment. I wondered how long this would continue with me. I had also asked my husband, why is your mother doing all this with me? But he remained silent on everything, so I decided that I will have to find out the truth myself. I kept making plans all night. In the morning again, my husband told me that he would take me shopping. I refused my husband to go shopping today. I asked my mother-in-law, Mother, at what time do I have to go with you in the evening? My mother-in-law started smiling at this and said that you should be ready at 5 o'clock in the evening. I became silent after listening to her. I had completely stopped talking to Rahul because he did not tell me anything, and moreover, there were 2 sisters-in-law in the house. They also had no idea about anything because my mother-in-law used to show a lot of power over her daughters and did not allow her daughters to go out of the room much. I had gone to my room, and when my husband came home in the afternoon, he told me that you still have time. I will take you for shopping, but I was not even talking to him. So I told him that I am not feeling well today. I don't want to go anywhere. Slowly, it was 5 o'clock in the evening, and I took out a suit from my torn clothes and wore it. I was getting ready and was coming out of my room when I heard my husband speaking. He was telling his mother that, Mummy, please don't do all this with Sony. Don't take Sony with you today. She is not feeling well. My mother-in-law had blindfolded me as usual. Then suddenly, I told my mother-in-law that, wait, Mother, these slippers cause a lot of pain in my feet. I will wear another slipper and come back. My mother-in-law said, okay, but come back soon. I opened this bandage with my own hands and came to my room holding it in my hand. I quickly took out the scissors and made a hole in the bandage in such a way that no one could see anyone. I was only worried that if my mother-in-law saw this hole, she would get me a divorce from my husband and throw me out of the house. I quickly finished my work. After that, I came out wearing other slippers and tied this blindfold on my eyes in front of my mother-in-law. After that, we started walking again. I was wearing the same torn clothes, which I used to wear every day, while going with my mother-in-law. We kept walking. My mother-in-law was also walking silently holding my hand. While walking like this, my eyes went to a corner of the road, where my mother-in-law made me sit. But after sitting there, something happened to me, which made me lose my senses. My mother-in-law had a big board in her hand, and I was not able to understand what was written on that board. My mother-in-law kept that board in front of me, and she also kept a bowl near me. I kept sitting there like this for 5 minutes. After that, people were coming and going after putting money inside that bowl. I was surprised to see this. There was a lot of public present here. My mother-in-law was so clever that she had already put a cloth in the bowl so that if someone puts a coin in the bowl, its clinking sound would not be heard by me. and I would not be able to recognize that I have a vessel kept with me and something has been put in it. To prevent the sound of the coin from coming in the bowl, she had tied a white handkerchief in the bowl. People were putting money in it and leaving. Some people were putting coins, and some people were also putting notes. In this way, a lot of money was collected. My mother-in-law picked me up from that place and took all her belongings. After sitting at this place for half an hour, my mother-in-law took me to another place. The same thing happened here too. My mother-in-law asked me to sit. In this way, a lot of people kept putting money in this bowl. This meant that my mother-in-law had made me a beggar. I now understood why I could not know till now where I was being taken. In this way, about 2-3 hours had passed. A lot of money had been collected with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law brought me home. After coming home, I had decided that I will not tolerate all this anymore. So, as soon as I entered the house, I removed the blindfold from my eyes. My husband was also present in the house. As soon as my mother-in-law saw my action, she got angry and said, "Why did you need to remove the blindfold so quickly? You know that only I can remove the blindfold from your eyes." I asked my mother-in-law, "Then how much money have you earned today?" My mother-in-law was surprised to hear me. Hearing our conversation, my husband also came to the courtyard. When he saw both of us, he was shocked. I said to my husband, "So you have been hiding this secret from me for so many days that your mother is making your wife beg on the streets. Today I have got the answers to all my questions. What happens to me? And why are my clothes cut and torn?" My mother-in-law said, "Be quiet, do not say a single word from now." I told my mother-in-law that even today you will threaten me, that if I don't listen to you, then you will get me divorced from my husband and throw me out of the house. I said today I will not rest until I know the whole truth, and if you don't tell me anything, then I will leave this house myself. Anyway, I cannot live a beggar's life. My parents may be close, but they never made me do such a thing that you people are taking advantage of me. My husband got scared after hearing my words, and he said that, "Please don't leave me, Sony. I will tell you everything." I said, "Yes, tell me everything today. Otherwise, it will not be good, because I cannot tolerate all this anymore." My husband told me that my mother had already fixed a relationship for me with her friend's daughter. But I loved you. I did not want to marry her. When my mother came to know about you, she clearly refused that she will never let you marry me. And on the other hand, you threatened me to commit suicide. I tried a lot to convince my mother, but she was not agreeing. But you tried to commit suicide. I forced my mother by threatening her with your life. Then she agreed to our marriage, but on one condition. She said that I will marry you with this girl on one condition. My mother came to know that you are from a poor family, and when you come to our house, you will neither bring much in dowry nor your parents will celebrate our marriage with pomp and show. My mother's friend was very rich. They were giving me a car, a bungalow, and 50 lakh rupees in dowry to start a business. My mother wanted me to get married to this girl, because I have the burden of marriages of my 2 sisters on my shoulders. I do not earn enough by working that I can meet all the expenses. My mother had put a condition in front of me that after marriage she will behave with you in this way and will collect money by making you beg. That is why she has written this on this board that I am dumb and blind. You people help me. After reading this board, people think you are a blind, dumb, and poor girl and give you money and go away. My mother hides her face so that no one can recognize her, but she makes you her target. My mother-in-law was standing and listening to our conversation quietly. I went close to my mother-in-law and told her that I have always considered you as my mother. I did not know that a mother can do this to her daughter. I said, "If you did not like me, then you should have told me. What was the need for you to do all this with me?" Rahul said, "I tried to refuse Mummy many times because I love you. I could not see you in this condition. But Mummy's condition was that she will let you stay in this house only if you do this kind of work. This way we would have collected a lot of money. I was refusing to marry you because I bring a meager salary. Maybe I cannot fulfill your dreams with that. But you were not trying to understand my point, and were not agreeing. You forced me to marry you. Here my mummy forced me. I was left helpless between you two. What could I have done? On one hand, I could not leave you, and on the other hand, I could not leave my mother. And it was very important for me to convince her too. I told Rahul, "Rahul, it is not your fault. because when a man is forced by his mother and wife, he starts feeling bad about his life. I can understand your feelings, I told my mother-in-law. You wanted me to leave this house, and the same rich girl comes to your house who brings a lot of dowry, brings money for your son. Then it is okay? You can marry your son according to your wish. I am leaving this house, but remember, what you have done with me, the same will definitely happen with your daughters one day. Because in God's house there is delay, no injustice. Whoever has done something in this world, he has to face the punishment for his deeds in this world. I went ahead saying this. My mother-in-law probably realized that she also has 2 daughters. If someone does this to her daughter, how much pain she will suffer. When my mother-in-law saw that I had packed my things and reached my doorstep, she held my hand and said, "Daughter-in-law, please forgive me. I have realized that one should not force someone so much that he is forced to take the wrong step. You have said such a big thing to me today about my daughters. Maybe I have forced you to do that. I am very ashamed of my mistake. Please forgive me. I only care about the expenses of this house and the marriage of my daughters. How will my son do all this in such a low income?" I told my mother-in-law, "Don't worry. Your daughter's marriage will be grand. I'm educated, I will work, and Rahul also works. We both will run this house with hard work. We'll get your 2 daughters married. And we'll live our lives well." My mother-in-law was very happy to hear me. I did not want to trouble her by saying anything, so I easily forgave her because she was also a mother. She was worried about her daughters. I did what I had told my mother-in-law. Now Rahul and I work together in the office. With my hard-earned money, I have married both my sisters-in-law. My mother-in-law was very happy with my hard work and dedication, and now she considers me her daughter, and not her daughter-in-law. She is very ashamed of what she had done to me. Now my life is going very well with my husband and my mother-in-law, and moreover, God has also given me a daughter, with whom my mother-in-law always plays, and loves me and my daughter very much. Friends, I hope you liked our story. If you liked the story, then like the video. If you are new on the channel, then subscribe to the channel, and yes, press the notification bell so that you get the next update first.